All right, let's get started, shall we? Once again, please just let me know that you can hear me, and then we'll get going. Okay, good. Let's get started. Sorry, guys, I've been a couple of minutes late, but figured let more people come in. I see some familiar names here. That's terrific. Thank you for coming. Those of you are from my group, my Discord group, just keep me on track. If I start going on tangents, I tend to do that. Uh, let me do this. Let me complete the presentation first, okay? And we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about ZoneGPT from the future. I'm going to show you live charts from today that I traded live in a PA account. By the way, all the trades you see me take in videos and for these webinars are always traded in PA accounts. I do not do backtesting, market replay, sim accounts, evaluation accounts, you name it. I think it's insulting. The point is, if I'm going to be recommending something, I need to put my money where my mouth is, right? So, and today I did something special. To prepare for this for today, I am always asked if the indicators I'm using or whatnot, are they good for micro contracts? I myself do not trade micro contracts, but I've gotten tons of emails asking me to demonstrate micro contracts. So today, 5 charts, 5 instruments, all on micro contracts. So that's what I've done for today. So let's get started. All right, let me kind of start backwards first because they put my slide at the end and I just want to kind of introduce myself. So my name is James Buchman. I'm a retired New York City Department of Education school supervisor. Always was interested in trading. Worked not far from the financial district, from Wall Street. Was fortunate enough to meet some very smart people who were very kind and took their time and mentored me. I brought it to electronic trading, paid my dues, if you know what I mean. And well, a year ago, I created a Discord group. I myself, by the way, I do not trade my own money. I trade prop accounts and private equity with accredited investors. And a year ago, I opened up a Discord group, basically where I give trading levels for 7 futures instruments. And then we have a Zoom call every morning where I outline my plan for Nasdaq and S&P. So that's me. And for today, okay, we're going to do the following. We're going to, first of all, we're going to discuss what issues do traders have. And what is it that is, well, there's so many challenges, everything from, emotional part of it, discipline, to actually knowing what to do with a chart, right? So we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about the solution that NINZA offers via ZoneGPT from the future. We're going to talk about the components of this indicator. There's going to be a great offer toward the end. Please hang out. And then, of course, demonstration, my favorite part, looking at charts, looking how this indicator, this system, it's not an indicator, this system, how it performed in real live market conditions. And then we're going to have the Q&A session. Please let me finish like everything I need to finish before I answer questions. So, okay, let me just get started here. All right. Okay. So, let's see. I always like to kind of see, because I am an educator at heart. I was an educator for most of my adult life. So let me first of all see, who is awake and what kind of group I'm dealing with here. See if you can complete the following sentence in one word. There is no right or wrong. One word. Trading is all about one word. Give you 10 seconds. Trading is all about what? What is trading all about? Trading is all about money. Okay. I like that. It is correct. Obviously, we are in it to make money, no question. But trading itself is all about probability. Trading is about probability. Um, it is about having an edge. To be a successful trader, you need an edge. You need something that would allow you to be profitable over time. No matter what, you are never going to win 100% of your trades. Not possible. You don't need to win 100% of your trades to be consistently profitable. There is no need for that. But there is a need to have a certain, and a lot depends obviously on your risk reward and all that stuff. But trading without an edge is like driving without a wheel. Okay, you just you need something to direct you. Okay, you need an edge. This edge could come in many different forms. I'm going to try and show you an example, and I'm gonna be a bit ahead of the game here, but I just want to show this to you. Hold on one second. See if I can make this work. So this is for later on, but just to illustrate what I'm talking about. Okay, here is a chart. What do you do with it? You can say, well, there's some higher highs, higher lows, but then now there is a lower low, there's like a lower high. What do I do here? It is unclear. There is no edge. What do I do? Okay, now, what about now? What about now? Here is your edge. A sell, a buy. Okay, this is the edge. Am I saying that you would have grabbed this short or you would have grabbed this long? Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. Not the point. The point is trading with an edge is what would separate you from the 97% of traders who either trade without an edge, who don't even know what an edge is, or are not able to implement that edge. So let's put this aside. This is for later. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but just wanted to illustrate the point. So again, one of the biggest issues we have with traders is finding that edge. We need to know how to enter a trade. What kind of risk must we have? Where is our target? Now, I'm putting aside now the emotional part of it, which is huge. It's huge. I mean, the emotional part is huge, but that's a bit of a different webinar. Right now, we just got to focus on actually on the trading itself. So let's go to the next one. So why are we struggling? I mean, there are so many reasons. This is a bit oversimplified. If you've been trading for more than 5 minutes, this is definitely somewhat oversimplified. But in a nutshell, it's something I covered in a previous webinar for this system. It's about support and resistance, right? What moves the markets? Supply and demand. Yes, it's the big funds. I get it. It's the big institutions, but even they either create the supply and demand or they identify supply and demand. In other words, they identify zones in the market where they want to enter, right? The big institutions, they cannot all enter in the same price at the same time. That wouldn't work. They they trade huge quantity, right, of contracts. So so it's all about zones. So if your support resistance indicator is lagging, or it cannot identify the overall trend, or it's too complicated, or it doesn't allow enough ways to customize it. Why is it important to customize any indicator? Because you need to address the market conditions that exist in the here and now. The market conditions that existed 6 months ago might not necessarily be, I would even say probably are not, the market conditions that exist today, right now. So it's the ability to customize is extremely important. So NINZA presents ZoneGPT from the future. And what it does is it creates zone ahead of price, not after the fact. It does not repaint. It creates zones ahead of price. We're going to see it on live charts. We're going to see those zones. It also, well, maybe it's the next, let's see. So yeah, so these are the zones, right? This is the torch, the center torch. The center torch is a very unique indicator that is part of the system. I can tell you, I did not make a video of this, but I will. I experimented one day just trading the direction of the torch. What it does is it is ahead of price, and it basically forecasts kind of where price is going to go. Based on that, that's how zones are created, but it is ahead of price and it directs, it kind of, price seems to follow it. Obviously, price doesn't know what the torch is doing, but somehow the torch knows, quote, knows what the price is going to do next. What is the probability, right? So again, going to probability, what is the probability that price is going to go higher or lower? So a green torch means there is a great likelihood, 100%? No, but a great likelihood that price will go up, and a red one, red torch means price will likely to go down. So it has a few ways to trade. So first of all, in general, right? When you look at any chart, you can identify a trend. A trend up, if they are roughly speaking, higher highs, higher lows, right? A trend down, lower highs, lower lows. So some people like to trade, myself, for example, I like to trade in the direction of the bigger trend. So I look for pullbacks in a trend to continue in the direction of the trend. So I am a trend following trader. There are traders who like to find reversal points. In other words, let's say there is a trend up, but at a certain point, price stops and reverses. So that's reversal trading. Range trading basically is when there is, let's say, a consolidation phase, and the market goes up and down within a fairly defined area. And then in that situation, what you want to do is you want to buy the bottom edge, right? You want to sell the top edge. And then, of course, there is scalping, there is day trading, there is position trading, there is swing trading. So what ZoneGPT can do? What did I skip something? No. ZoneGPT will allow you to trade in any of these situations. Again, if you want to trade with the trend, you would follow the torch. You would look for zones that are in conjunction with, let's say, confluence with the color of the torch. If there is a support area, the torch is green, you're looking long. Reversal is, let's say the torch is green, but there is a zone, a red zone, where ZoneGPT is showing a sell signal. Now, if you're a trend following trader, maybe you would skip it. But if not, you would just take it. Of course, ranges, again, there are zones on top and on the bottom in a given area where price just keeps going up and down within that area. So, okay, so the components we spoke about, right? The most unique component is the torch, really. The torch is just a very unique way of kind of forecasting where price is going to go. Okay, so well, yeah, obviously, if you have a good tool, you have expanded a trading opportunity, you know ahead of time, and that is the key with this. You will know ahead of time where a buy or a sell area might be. And by looking at the torch, you'll have an idea if price should go up or go down. Obviously, it can replace a whole bunch of indicators, but really, you should not have that many indicators on your chart anyway. The other day I saw a trader who showed me his chart. There was so many indicators on it, I couldn't see the price bars. That's crazy. At the end of the day, it's all about the price bars, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. So right, all these components, the torch, the zones, trading with the trend, trading against the trend, ways to customize and adjust how the zones are created. That's important because, for example, it's difficult to compare Nasdaq to S&P, for example, right? Nasdaq is a much wilder, let's say, market than the S&P. So you would need different parameters for the Nasdaq as compared to the S&P. I mean, that makes sense. What's this now? So this is, oh, that's for later. That's for later. Demonstration. That's my favorite part. All right, here we go. Demonstration. Hold on now. Let me see, because I got to bring it in. So let me done. Yeah, I'm not very tech savvy here, but I'll figure this out. Hold on here. So let's start with the S&P. Let's start with the S&P. So, okay. So you see, this is a PA account. I'm just going to hide the actual account, but this is a PA account. And I did, so again, all the markets I did today were micros. I normally never trade micros, but today I decided to, you know what, I've gotten a lot of requests for micros. So this result here is from micros. Now, it's not that I'm trying to impress you with $85.50, but understand that trading one micro and reaching this amount is equivalent to trading an E-mini and hitting 850, 855. So it's not like it's not a question of impressing you. It's the point of you can trade one micro in different markets using a tool that gives you an edge, and you can achieve, possibly, depending on your skill level and stuff, $85 in profit. Now, actually, after commissions, it's probably more like $75 in profit for the day. But if I may, let me bring up this point. Okay, true, not a heck of a lot of money, but what is the risk? And I think a lot of traders overlook that. Prop firms will give you all the rope you need to hang yourself with. Okay, they give you a $50,000 account with a $2,500 trailing drawdown, and some even have a daily max, not only an overall drawdown, but a daily drawdown, which is half of the 2,500. And they will tell you can trade 8 or even 10 e-minis with a $2,500 drawdown. Is that real? I mean, who would do that, right? So basically, that's not trading anymore. Now it's gambling, and of course, they want you to gamble because then you blow your account and you pay for new accounts and you pay another PA fee. Don't you know what? I'm gonna. All right. Yeah. The point is, when you're trading with one micro, how difficult is it to blow an account trading one micro as opposed to one E-mini? Well, if we're talking about, for example, this is the S&P, but if we're talking about Nasdaq, for example, $2,500 is what, 125 points? Is it difficult if you're staying in a losing trade for the market to move against you by 125 Nasdaq points. It's not easy, no problem. You can blow your account in one day if you stay in a trade with just one E-mini. Forget 8, just one E-mini. But what about one micro? Well, now it's not 125 points. Now it's 1,250 points. Is it likely that you can blow your account in one day? Probably not. Anything's possible. I'm sure people have done it, but it's difficult. It's difficult. So you can trade one micro and keep yourself, quote, safe, if there is such thing as safe in trading. But you can keep yourself safe because you're not over leveraging, and you still can make, say, $75 after commissions today, which, by the way, 75 a day is 1,500 a month, trading micros. Just saying. Anyway, that's what I do. Let's get to the chart here. So here is a short. Here are shorts too. Now that's pre-market, but here are shorts. But look, the torch here is green. The trend is up. This is, so if you're, let's say, a reversal kind of trader, maybe you would have taken this. I would not. I would not. And in my Discord group, I told everyone specifically where to look for the market to go, and I was not looking for shorts. But here, the torch is red. You can see red. Here the torch was red. Here is the zone. The zone was created when price was here, was created ahead of time. Here is the short. Now this is S&P, right? 3-4 points in the S&P is nice. Most people cannot do that, okay? Now, just so you know, I did not take every trade in all 5 markets, just because I'm doing other things during the day, trading related, but I grabbed what I could. I grabbed what I could. So here was a short, a couple of more shorts, and then a monster short. So again, all of these zones were there ahead of time. All of them. All of them. And you see how ZoneGPT from the future, even though there is a buy zone here, there was no confirmation. There are no long trades here. Going back to what I was saying about an edge, this is an edge right there. Boom, down we go. Now, another thing as a trader, this was said to me more than once, because one of my things is I insist on traders creating a trading plan. This trading plan includes a daily goal. And I had the traders say, but sometimes I reach my daily goal in 15 minutes. I am a trader. Shouldn't I keep on trading? No, absolutely not. No, no. You reach your goal, you're done. Oh, but maybe I'm leaving a lot on the table. Okay, maybe. But eventually you get bit. Eventually you get bit, right? It was a great saying. If you keep on going to the well, eventually you'll fall in. Now, if we look at this trade here, though, the torch was green. This is a very, this is not a high probability trade. It could have been a winning trade. I mean, here we don't know, right? We don't know. But the torch here is green. The torch is already saying price is likely to go up. The torch has been saying that from here. From here. This what the torch is saying, price is likely to go up. So this is, let's say, an aggressive short. Even though we had this amazing move down, by the time price gets here, torch is turning green. So again, it's up to you if you want to take it. I'm just saying the torch was green. Okay, so that's the MES, the micro. By the way, I'm assuming everyone knows, in case there's some new traders here, micro just means it is 1/10 of the size of the E-mini. Okay, so in a S&P, every point is $50. In a micro, every point is $5. So just to make it clear, I can't assume that everyone. Okay. Let's see, what do we have next? Hold on. Just gotta find those things. 1 minute. Let's bring Crude. Move, Crude. Whoops. Crude. Okay, Crude. Crude, so we have a buy. You see the torch here is red. This is an aggressive buy. Now, again, depending where your stop would have been, maybe you would have gotten stop, maybe not. This is an aggressive short, right? Because the torch here would have been green. So torch here is red and a buy, that's aggressive. Uh, Not to say that aggressive trades can't work out. I'm just saying, as far as the definition of this system, it is aggressive. This would be an aggressive short. But here we have a green torch. You see the blue line? We have a zone created ahead of time. So as price is coming down, you're anticipating this. You're anticipating a touch of the zone and the bar closing up to result in a buy signal. And here is a buy. Now, I actually traded this here, but I did not get the full move. Again, I'm doing other things. So I don't need to get the full move. I'm just getting some here and some there, right? That's another one, right? So green torch would have been here and a blue signal to buy. And then toward, later part of the day here, this is an aggressive long because the torch would have been red. And by the way, you see how the torch is red from here, anticipates the move down. As I said, I actually tried one day to just trade the torch without even the signals, just to see what would happen. Very profitable as it calls the direction of the price ahead of time. And again, you should be done. You don't need to get every trade. You don't need to get every tick that is maybe possible to get. Just get your daily goal. Be done. Be done. Here is the torch green, right? So the torch was green from here, right over here, when the line turns blue, right here. So, that's I don't know how they did this. I know nothing about coding. But this torch is like the guiding light, and price, it just responds. It has a way with, again, high probability of success of determining where price is going to go. Just really interesting. Okay, so that's micro oil. Let's take a look at here the Nasdaq. So this is 6 p.m. yesterday, of course. Then here we go. Market opens up. Now, again, torch here is red, right? Here is a sell. Monster trade. Sell and a sell. Torch is red. Torch was red, by the way, from here. This whole thing here, the torch is red. And again, I say, you are done. You don't need to keep on trading. Here is a buy, right? So no buy at this zone, which was drawn ahead of time, but buy here. Why? Because the bar closes up. Is it an aggressive long according to my definition? Yes, it is. This is an aggressive long because here the torch is still red, but price did reach the zones that the torch anticipated price to reach, right over here. If it was to continue lower and from over here, there would have been a buy here. This is probably a losing trade. Now, I did not take this, but again, I did not take every trade, but depending on what you were looking for, if you were just looking for a scalp, this would have been enough. If not, this would have been a losing trade. This is a long, a legitimate long, because the torch was right green here. Yep, the torch was green. Nice scalp. the torch was red, and here is a sell. Okay, so now we're hitting some chop. Again, you don't need to keep on trading. This long is against the trend, but if this price was important to you, maybe you would have gotten a long over here. So now we're kind of hitting. So we have longs when the torch is down, and the torch, by the way, is right. Price is going lower overall. And then we have a sell when the torch is blue. Now we have a long when the torch is green. Again, depending if you're just looking for a scalp, this point of the day is far from ideal. I really try to stop really fairly soon. I don't like to get into afternoons, but just kind of show you the rest of the day here. So there is a long. Now, all of these shorts, even though I think most of them would have worked for a scalp, are against the trend because the torch, you see this green torch, was green from here. This whole move up, the torch is green. And take a look here. Now, I'm not saying you would have traded at this time. I wouldn't have. But here is the torch green and a buy signal. That is the high probability trade if you are patient enough to wait for it. This is not against the trend. This is with the trend as the torch is green over here. So this is the kind of trade you want to try and be patient for. Again, I would not trade at this point of the day, but earlier on in the morning, to me, like this. And believe it or not, for my own reasons, because in my Discord group, I was actually looking to buy this level. This is the trade I would have taken, even though it is against the trend. But this was an important level for me, and the people in my group knew about this. So this is a trade I would have taken, and I actually missed it here. But I would have taken this trade. I would not have taken this one, by the way. But again, the Nasdaq, I think I only had one trade. I don't even remember where it was, though. I did have one small trade on the Nasdaq, and I think it was somewhere here. Again, even though it's against the trend, for me, it was an important level in my own work. So I think somewhere here I took a trade on the Nasdaq. Okay, let's look at something else. Now, the last time I think someone asked me for the Russell, and this time I have the Russell. I just got to find it. Hold on. The Russell. Yeah, I remember that the last time someone asked me for the Russell. So this is, again, everything is micro. This is the micro Russell. Everything is micro today. So the Russell. So this is a good long, right? This is a blue line, so the torch here is green. This is against the trend, so this is an aggressive short. This is an aggressive long because now the torch is red over here, but this is it. This is torch red, which means trend is down, and a zone painted. It's there ahead of time, and here is a sell signal, and here is your trade. And now you're done. That's it. You're done. You shut the computer. You go ride a bike or something. Okay. You don't have to keep on trading. So this is aggressive. This is aggressive. Then this becomes aggressive. So the rest of the day, this is a good long right over here. This is a good long. This is a good short. Didn't give you much. But this is a good short. This is a good short. This is an aggressive long. Aggressive long, because that torch is red the whole time here. This is a good long that's probably a losing trade. That's why you don't keep on trading. Because eventually, probabilities do catch up with you eventually. But this is good, I think. Yeah, this is good. So this was enough here. This is against the trend, which is down. This again, this would have been a losing trade, no question. This is probably a winning scalp over here, but again, you're done by this point. You should not be trade. I just want to see the torch now. Where's the torch? Oops. So, what am I doing? So this would have been a good short. This is an aggressive long that worked out beautifully. This is would be aggressive, I guess, because here I think the torch was red. Um, this is aggressive short, aggressive long, and this is the torch. So the torch that's now here was bullish, was green from here. So again, just super impressive how this torch kind of guides the price. Okay, so that's the Russell. What didn't we do? This, think, did we do gold? I don't think we did gold, right? I have gold here somewhere. Micro gold, that is. Gold. Here is gold. Okay, so gold to me, this is it here. So, this is Globex, and then gold opens up. This is the trade. This one I participated in. That's why I remember it. This is a beautiful long. I mean, just a beautiful long. And once it was done, I was done with gold. I don't even know what happened later. We can take a look. This would have been a good long here for a scalp, but not much. Then gold just went sideways. The torch is now green, was green from here. Here it would have been green from here, then red from like here. So, but very choppy. I mean, gold, you see, right? Not much going on. But for me, this was the long. This was the long in gold right here. So let's see. There was something else. I think there was something else. Well, this was 5, right? Oh, the 6E. Yeah, 6E I messed up in. So I'll show you the chart, but I took no trades. I took no trades in the euro because I messed it up. I forgot to put the micro. Instead, I had an E-mini. So once I realized it, I just didn't take any trades in the euro. Because again, today I wanted to trade only micros just to show that it really doesn't matter. It's the same market, just a smaller contract. But I mean, it's just fine with micros. But this was a long. Just didn't give much after that, just went sideways. So, not much you can do with a market that's just sideways. It is what it is. Um, Again, the torch in this case was long from here, like here somewhere, but very choppy, just not much going on. And again, for me, this would have been the trade right here and done, right over here. That's it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now let's talk about the deal and then Q&A. The deal. Okay, it's not the deal. We spoke about this. We spoke about this. The deal. Okay. So the normal price is $1,596 worth every penny. What NINZA did was the first 15 licenses, they agreed to sell for $496. And the coupon code is GPT496. You can even scan. Look at that. Technology. Great stuff. The next 20 licenses are going to be 596. And the code would be GPT. What's the same code? 496. Great deal. So that's the next 48 hours. And obviously, the first 15 get it for $100 less than the next 20. After the 35, it's back to, I guess, this, unless they have some other sale going. Okay, we're going to get to Q&A. Let me get some water. I'll be back in like 15 seconds. My throat is a bit dry because I also talk a lot in Zoom with my group. So yeah, give me just a few seconds and I will be right back. All right, so let's get to it. Let me see, regular candle. So by regular candlesticks, I assume you mean like time bars or like tick bars, or I can tell you what I was told by NINZA. Um, the, these indicators were made specifically for the King Renko bar. That's what I'm told. So would they work on regular bars? There is a video of me using a 5-minute bar for swing trading during the day. Does it work? Yes. But the official word is that King Renko bars are ideal for this system. But from my experience, I can tell you that that other time frames, other bars work as well. Proper settings. Okay, so that is a great question, and I can tell you this: there is no formula to this. It is something that is time consuming. What you need to understand is that, as I always say, market conditions change all the time. The market is not here to accommodate you. You need to accommodate the market. So you need to find time frames or brick sizes in case of King Renko bar and settings in the indicator that would best reflect current market conditions. Now the question is, but how do you know what brick size to use or settings to use? And it's not about knowing. Nobody knows. I don't know. I sit there and I try and I experiment and I try different brick sizes and I try different parameters in the system, in the indicator. The bottom line is, yes, markets change, but they don't change in a very short period of time. What I'm saying is you don't need to load 3 months worth. I do between 2 and 4 days. I load the latest between like 1 and 4 days. And I'm trying to find situations, signals, let's say, that are not 100% accurate. There is no such thing as 100%, right? So we all understand that. There is no 100%. 70%. Let's say given a 1-to-1 ratio. I want to find something that is 70% accurate because that is the edge that I need to be profitable. Going back to the original thing I was talking about, probability. That's all trading is. Trading is about probability. Put the odds on your side and you are a winning trader. And you don't need the 100%. There is no 100%. Experiment. That's what I did. It's not like, now, NINZA code does have suggestions. And I kind of skipped that slide. I mean, I can show it to you if you wish, but I kind of skipped it because it could be okay for today and not be okay for, here we go. It could be okay for today, and in 2 weeks from now, it's something completely different. You need to constantly look. You don't need to constantly change, but you do need to constantly look and make sure that the conditions that, let's say, the brick sizes or whatnot are still appropriate for today's market. So, but this is the brick sizes that NINZA recommends. So for what it's worth, this is what they recommend. Okay, so I'm just going over some questions here. It's a lot of questions. So let me just say, because there are so many questions, they tend to scroll up. If for some reason I miss your question, email me. I will respond. This is me here. So email me. This is my website with the Discord address, but email me. If I skip your question, um, just email me. So as far as the vouchers, I don't know exactly how those coupons work. That's more of a NINZA question. I don't want to tell you something that is incorrect. Now, what do I mean by signals don't repaint? That is a great question. So there are some indicators that when you refresh the chart, all of a sudden the what's called losing signals disappear, and all you have are winning signals. That is like after the fact. That is cheating, okay? That is repainting. And this system, this indicator, and I think everything made by NINZA does not repaint. The signals that happened are the same signals you see right now, the good, the bad, and the ugly. They do not repaint. Do not repaint. The signal that happened at this time is the signal that happened in real time, and it's the same signal. If you load the chart in 2 weeks from now, you're going to see the same signal. So these signals do not repaint, which is essential for you to do any kind of backtesting. What settings could you change besides the brick size? So you can change a whole, well, the brick size only refers to the time frame, right? The brick size is the data. So that's the King Renko bar. These settings are the indicator settings. They will decide, for example, how sensitive the torch is, which would then also decide the frequency of the zones. So there is a lot you can change here. And it might look like a lot, and you might say, but shouldn't there be less variables, less parameters? And the truth is, no, because while it might give you a bit more work, what it allows you to do is priceless. It allows you to really nail in so that the system could best reflect what is going on in the market. So you can change all of these. And again, yes, it's time consuming, but it's worth it. What you don't want is something that has just one or two things. Because while it might look like it's, quote, less work, in reality, it is much harder to adjust to what the market is really doing at the moment. So again, as far as must you use the Renko King bar, I don't think you do. I don't think you do. As a matter of fact, I just saw that. Where is that? Let's see. So yeah, even ninZaCo has the ninZa Renko, so you don't have to use the King Renko bar. It's just from what I was told, it was specifically designed for it. But I used it, like I said, I used it on time frames. Uh, I don't think it's essential, but I do see the difference as far as precision. It The system does tend to be more precise with the King Renko. Like how is the King Renko different than the ninZa Renko? A ninZa Renko is what's called an irregular bar, meaning what? It has a false, what looks like a start, and a false where it closes, right? So it's an irregular bar. The King Renko, it's actually where the price went, the low and the high. That's what separates it from a regular Renko bar, and that's why I think it is most appropriate for this system. Right. Let me address the point. Actually, it's a really good point. Combining Zone GPT with other indicators, that is actually really good. For example, let me pick something here. So, oops. Okay. Now, obviously, we're not trading at this time, but we see the torch green and prices climbing. If you have another indicator, for example, solar wind RK or something else, that also, for example, has long signals, working them together could be beneficial. Again, creating an edge. So in this kind of a situation, let's say whatever indicator you're using, let's say it creates a short signal, but you would say, you know what? I don't know if I'm interested in shorts. The torch is green, price is going higher. I want to see if I can get long. So yes, I do believe you can combine um, Zone GPT, at least some aspects of Zone GPT, together with other NINZA indicators as a confirmation, right? So in this sense here, price is going down, the torch here is red. You're not looking for longs, you're looking for short trades. Probably, by the way, maybe on a smaller time frame. That's the idea I'm kind of having. If you put this on a higher time frame, you have another indicator on a smaller time frame for scalping, for confirmation, then it could be a great combination. I think so. I think it would work really well. Okay, I just saw the question about documentation. There is a user manual, which I will admit to you I did not read. I get very impatient with that stuff. You see, for me, it's all about trading, and I want to learn on my own. That's just me. I prefer to learn on my own from experience. I don't want to almost hear what someone else has to say, because it gives me a bias that I don't want. For example, when I'm with my trading group, my members know that I never listen to the news. I refuse to listen to the news, and that's because I'm trying to avoid being biased, right? So I watch the price. So when I get an indicator or a system, I just look at it and I'm trying to learn what is it that this indicator is doing, and then based on that, adjust the parameters. But the answer is yes. There is a manual that goes over all the parameters and I guess how to adjust them. Okay, so again, there is no proper settings. There are settings for every market. Beyond that, there are settings that you would change every once in a while for every market. Um, there is, and that goes for any indicator. There is no such thing as proper settings. Um, my opinion, I should say, my opinion, there is no such thing as proper settings. I'm trying to find the deal now. Here we go. Okay. Um, uh, because again, if you say there is such thing as proper settings, you're saying, well, the market needs to adjust to these settings. No, no, you need to adjust to the market. It's always the case. We do not move the market. We are tiny nothings. We are not moving the market. We need to understand what the market wants to do, and then based on that, we change our time frame, brick size, and settings in our indicator. Anything else? I think I got it all. Okay, so what's the difference between Cosmic Z and Zone GPT? They have some similarities, and I tell you, it's a different webinar, but Cosmic Z is the bomb. It's but it's more of a trend following indicator. It's not so much a zone indicator, although there are some zones in Cosmic Z. Um, but that's an example, by the way, of a beautiful, I guess, collaboration that could be created between Zone GPT and Cosmic Z, with kind of maybe Zone GPT on a higher time frame points the way with a center torch, and then Cosmic Z maybe on a smaller time frame tries to take trades in a direction of that center torch. But those are very different indicators. Again, ZoneGPT is about finding zones ahead of time and guiding, I shouldn't say guiding the price, but give you an idea, the probable direction of price with the center torch. Let me see if there was anything else I missed. I believe this is recorded, and NINZA will, I guess, publish it or email it to everyone who attended. And yeah, again, before I go, if you guys want to try something a bit different, if you want to come and check out my Discord group, again, what I do is I provide buy, sell levels for 7 futures markets. My group members know what to look for in any one of those markets. We have some they trade oil, some they trade the euro. Most, of course, trade the Nasdaq and the S&P. So for example, today in the Nasdaq, I was looking to buy 835. This was my best buy zone from 835 down to 810, and you can see where the market closed. So while sometimes we need to be patient, this is what I do basically. I help guide traders specifically in the Nasdaq and S&P during the Zoom call, but overall 7 markets in Discord. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, so question regarding money management. Right, understand something. When I make these indicator videos, right? So these are demonstration videos, and so I'm trying to get as many examples of trades as possible, while, by the way, managing my Discord group and doing my own trading that is other than the trading with the indicators. So yes, I try to take profits quickly, but in the past couple of videos, I was targeting 10 Nasdaq points. It is true, I think most of the time I do risk somewhat more than I am targeting, but again, I'm just trying to get in as many trades as possible to demonstrate. That's not how I trade for myself, but when I demonstrate an indicator, it's not enough to just show one trade, right? So I'm trying to record and do a whole bunch of other things at the same time. And so, yes, sometimes I'm going for very quick profits. It would also depend, by the way, again, what is it that the market is doing? Is there a huge range or is there a very tiny range, right? You can only take what the market is willing to give. You cannot take more than the market is willing to give. And sometimes Nasdaq, especially lately, has been in a very tight range, sometimes for hours. So I cannot say, well, I don't care what, I want my 20 points. That's not, I can say anything I want. The market does not care. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, I am not very tech savvy, but it's algo day trader. This is the Discord group. Also, if you go to my website here and you click join, you're going to see Discord address right there. So we have a public channel where I basically just post some trades that I take based on the levels that I create and some of our users. And then, of course, we have the premium channels. That's with the daily levels. Trade indications are basically for the day, for Nasdaq and the S&P, what I'm looking for, specific levels to buy and sell. Again, you can email me if something is not clear. I'll answer anything. If I skipped any questions, just email me and I will respond. It's algodaytrading@yahoo.com, because I think I got all the questions, but just in case, hold on. Okay, so this is MES. And here is the brick size. So again, this brick size would change, not from day to day probably, but every so often depends, on volatility. I could go as low as like 6.2. I mean, I could do that if things get really rangy. So this is the NQ. So you see a much larger brick size, obviously, right? Because this is the NQ. You cannot have the NQ being the same size as the S&P, or I should say MNQ, same as MES. These are micro contracts. But again, I strongly encourage you, don't just go by this. I have no special powers when it comes to stuff. You might discover a much better brick size and much better settings in the indicator. I have no any kind of a special anything. I put it on my chart and I try. Um, and I just strongly encourage you to try it on your own. I just think it's better. Okay, so if you just joined late, again, the difference between King Renko and Ninja Renko is that King Renko, the bar opens up where you see it open up, and it goes down. It has a tail. It truly reflects price. A Ninja Renko bar is what's called an irregular bar. It does not open at the bar low or anything like that. So while it also has a wick, it is an irregular bar. It is a different bar type than the King Renko. And that's why I think NINZA says that this indicator specifically was made for the King Renko bar. As a matter of fact, I'm told anything by King Renko, by King Renko, right? If we look here, like all of these indicators are made specifically for the King Renko bar. Yeah, I don't know about the voucher. Get in touch with NINZA. I'm too afraid to give you the wrong answer. This is their promotion. And so, I'm just hosting this webinar. So, anything to do with codes, vouchers, coupons, anything of that sort. If something is unclear, just get in touch with them. Tell them you attended the webinar and how can you take advantage of the $200 voucher. Okay, I do think I need to finish up here now. Hold on. What used to for the trend is the torch. So here, this whole time over here, the torch is blue here. This just means the system predicts, I guess, if it's the right word, that price is going to go higher. Sure enough, price is going higher. That's why this is a good trade with a trend. This is okay for scalps. You would have gotten your scalps here, but this is kind of against the trend over here. So it all depends what kind of a trader you are. If you're looking to trade with the trend, you just got to be patient and wait for this kind of a situation. And then it pays. It definitely pays. Let's see if there's anything else. As far as what I do, I post the levels shortly after 6 p.m. Eastern, shortly after Globex opens. I have traders from Australia, Asia, Europe, the world. Uh, Obviously, the type of volatility that exists during Asian session sometimes are less than perfect, shall we say. But I think if you're looking for smaller targets, I think it's fine. I myself very often wake up really early and not the Asian session, but I do trade the London Open. very often. Okay, so I think I will finish up here. So I think this is great. Thank you guys for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Again, any questions, email me. I will answer any and all questions. I hope to make another webinar, maybe featuring ZoneGPT or maybe some other indicator. We shall see. But again, I want to thank you for joining, and I will see you next time.